items to require a vote on executive sessions. Item 3, receive information and take desired action on various boards. First, we have Accommodation Tax Advisory Committee. We have one individual that does not want to be reappointed, so we need to fill a slot for accommodations tax. Board of Assessment Appeals, we need to fill school district.
Still working on that.
Still working. Code of Appeals, we have a couple of slots to fill there. Community Development, we have some up in April. We get on those. Cool Springs Fingerville, we have some names up for reappointment. Justin?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I move that we waive the rules and nominate David Gerald Anderson.
Have a motion and a second on David Gerald Anderson. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, vote affirmative, and it passes.
Mr. Chairman, I also move that we waive the rules and nominate Patricia Lee Shields.
Patricia Lee Shields, we have a motion. Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, vote affirmative, and it passes. Are those the only 2 slots at this time, Justin?
Yes, looks like we're still missing 5 for one more.
All right, thank you, sir. Domestic Violence Board. We have Lynn Hawkins, wanted to be reappointed.
Yes, sir. I recommend we waive the rules and nominate Lynn
All right,
Hawkins.
we have a motion. Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, vote affirmative, and it passes. Hobbiesville. Fire District. Bob? Hobbiesville? That's not you? All right.
Nothing at this time.
Jamie. Okay. Piedmont Community Actions. Please.
We do have a violin for a gentleman. I think he'll be posted hopefully on the next council. Okay.
Okay, maybe we didn't. Okay.
Okay.
Twin Lakes Special Tax.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to waive rules and nominate Ms. Susan Glenn.
I have a motion and a second on Susan Glenn. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, vote affirmative, it passes. Unifier.
Sure, I said we waive rules and nominate and elect Mr. Maceo Black Jr.
Have a motion and a second on Mr. Maceo Black Jr. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, vote affirmative, it passes.
Mr. Chairman, I also ask that we waive rules and nominate and elect Ms. Renee Hughes Hawkins.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on Renee Hughes Hawkins. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, vote affirmative, and it passes. Thank you. And let's try to get these remaining spots for April filled next month. Next, we have Mr. Steve Pelletier from the Director of Elections and Council of Governments. He was supposed to be with us last month, but mother didn't cooperate. So, Steve, how are you today?
Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Horton. I appreciate the opportunity to be back with you all this year. Man, as I get older, time goes by fast. It seems like I was just here, but a whole year has gone by. Do appreciate the opportunity to briefly present the Council of Governments annual report on activities in Spartanburg County, and put a handout at your place a few minutes ago. Our 2014 annual report, Spartanburg County section begins on page 20. But to make it easy, I also inserted right in the front of the book a summary highlighting activities and investment in Spartanburg County. I do want to say thank you to Ms. Hall, who is the current chair of the Council of Governments Board of Directors, and my boss. So appreciate your service, ma'am. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Nutt and Mr. Bradley, who actually would have had their first board meeting in February if not for the weather as well, but look forward to working with you two as well. And Mr. Nutt, I put your new members packet at your place as well there. So again, appreciate that. Other board members from Spartanburg County on the Council of Government boards include Representative Mike Forrester, from Spartanburg City Council, the Mayor, Junie White, and Ms. Jan Scalise, Pacolet Mayor Elaine Harris, and citizen members Chet Morris, Albert Hellerson, and Loretta Smith. For 2014, your investment in the Council of Governments was $111,436. The return on that investment to the county, municipalities, and other entities in the county was $3.84 million, so up a little bit from the previous year. And that translates to a return on investment of $34 back for every dollar you invest. This year, we were only able to secure one federal grant for the county, but it was a good one. The Economic Development Administration, $2 million to SJWD for water treatment plant upgrades. And the primary catalyst there is the Torrey investment, as well as being able to serve that quickly growing 290 more area of the county. So very pleased that we were able to help with that. Right now, we're working with the town of Pacolet for a $57,000 Rural Infrastructure Authority grant for its Main Street sewer project. Mayor Harris certainly keeps us busy, but they do a lot of good stuff up in Pacolet, and we enjoy working with them. In addition to federal grant funds, we were able to provide a little over $390,000 to support senior services in the county, provided almost 48,000 meals, provided for medical services, transportation, shelter, home care, and home health care. Had a good year with our entrepreneurial revolving loan, our entrepreneurial and small business revolving loan fund. Generated $501,000 in loans to small businesses in Spartanburg County. These are new businesses and expansions. And that leverage, an additional $750,000 in private capital investment, created 27 jobs in the county. This is a really neat program in that it is targeted to small homegrown businesses. So much with economic development, you're chasing the big guys and the big investment, which is great, and we need that. But it's our small local folks who create a large percent of the jobs as well. And just to note, the chair of the board of the Appalachian Development Corporation, who we work through for this program, is a Spartanburg person as well. You'll probably know Kim Mode with the Palmetto Bank, and she's done an outstanding job in that volunteer role. In addition, we provided a little over $200,000 in transit funds to the county, purchased trips for senior centers of Spartanburg, 2 vans for New Day, a van for Charles Lee Center, and support transit operations for Charles Lee. While we didn't have any rural road system improvements in 2014, we have invested $19 million in the county since 1998 on system improvements, and we are at this point have a new allocation from DOT, and we'll be looking over the next 6 to 8 months to identify projects for that. And so actually in April, when Ms. Hall makes her committee appointments on the board, you'll want to pay really close attention to the Transportation Committee because it will be active in identifying investments coming up in the future for road work. In addition to the dollar investment, we provide other services as well, which I've highlighted on page 2 and 3 of my summary. I'm not going to take the time to read all of those to you, but would like to ask that you look at those as you have time available. But would like to highlight a couple. I'm very proud of our Community Care Transitions program. We are one of just under 100 pilot projects in the country, looking at what's been identified as a real severe issue, that when seniors get discharged from hospitals, they often find themselves back readmitted within a very short period of time. Working with Spartanburg Medical Center, Mary Black, Wallace Thompson Hospital in Union in upstate in Gaffney, this is a program that looks at what causes that. What are the factors that cause readmission, and provides the resources necessary to allow people to not go back. Typically it's prescription checks, transportation to follow-up appointments, making sure people make and keep their follow-up appointments. And we found a fairly significant reduction in readmissions for those patients that have allowed us to work with them in that. So real excited about that. And real excited that the hospitals in Spartanburg, Cherokee, and Union counties are willing to work together and trust each other to a fairly large extent. In a lot of places, these pilot projects failed from the start because the hospitals saw themselves as competitors, which of course they are, but to a much greater extent than seeing themselves as being community service, which yours obviously do. Another pilot program we started last year that's been well received, and 2 of your cities were the guinea pigs, so to speak, for that, is our roving administrator program. We provide ACOG staffer Doug Burns to provide administrator services for the towns of Duncan and Inman. And while their needs and what Doug has been doing with those has varied widely, the city councils and mayors can both report to me that it's been very helpful to them and a very beneficial program in helping them to do a better job of serving their citizens. Again, have other items on there as well, but don't want to take up too much of your time. Do appreciate your support with the Council of Governments. Look forward to working with your staff and yourselves coming up in this future year. And if you have any questions, I'd certainly be glad to respond.
Steve, I want to thank Jane and congratulate her for being chairman, and Roger and Justin, I want to thank you guys for agreeing to serve. It takes additional time, but it's also, as you can see, vitally important to the county, so appreciate your work. Any questions for Steve?
I think one of the things I have to add is the fact that Steve, as the director of Appalachian Council of Governments, has brought a tremendous amount of professionalism to this organization, and we appreciate what you and your staff do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I do have an excellent staff.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you being here today. All right, next we'll go to our committee meetings, and unfortunately, Mr. Britt, we have nothing under economic recruitment and development.
That means we're not working, we got a lot of projects to put in. And, yeah, a lot of good things going on.
Next, we have Public Health and Human Services. Honorable Justin Bradley, Chairman, Michael Brown, Bob Walker, Member. Mr. Bradley.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have two items coming before our committee today. First is to receive information and take desired action in reference to the Community Development Block Grant Program and Home Investment Partnerships Program funding recommendations. We have Ms. Kathy Rivers here to present.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call your attention to the Community Development Department's Annual Action Plan for fiscal year 2015. Our total allocation is $1.7 million. Most of the requests before you are projects that we have funded in the past, but we do have a few new ones. One of the new projects is to provide funding to Habitat for Humanity for land acquisition and construction, construct 2 new homes. Another is water and sewer improvements to a community in Emory to benefit approximately 20 households. And we'd like to provide funding for the construction and professional services to the Arts Partnership for the historic Mayfair textile mill to be converted into a community-based arts incubator. Approximately 2,600 people live within 1 mile of the site. The services will be open to all the citizens of Spartanburg County. Our Community Development Advisory Committee recommended this proposal at their January 27th meeting, and we have a couple of our members present here today. A public hearing was held on February the 24th with approximately 16 persons in attendance supporting the recommendations. We have representatives of those agencies present with us here today as well. We're here to ask your approval so that we can submit our plan to the Housing and Urban Development by the May 15th deadline. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Do we have any questions, Ms. Rivers?
I'm glad to see that the water and sewer improvements for the Emory community have been added to the CDBG funding, and I think that's going to be a tremendous asset to that community to have those improvements made.
Yes, we think so too.
Thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2015 annual action plan.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve of the annual action plan for fiscal year 2015. Second.
All right, all those in favor, let it be known by raising of your right hand. None opposed? We'll make this recommendation to full council. Thank you.
Thank you.
The second item before the committee is to receive information in reference to changing the name of Spartanburg Alcohol and Drug Abuse Commission to David Forrester Behavioral Health Center. We have Melissa Ann Cunningham, State Act Board Member, and Sue O'Brien, Executive Director, to present.
Good afternoon. I have to send my apologies about Melissa Ann Cunningham. She is our Vice President of my board, and she had an emergency at work and was unable to attend. But she's working very strongly on this project and along with us and with our board. I've had the opportunity to speak to several of you prior to this afternoon, and our goal is to have SADAC continue to grow and develop in the best possible way and to brand it in a way that really reflects everything that we do there. Coming up on my 1-year anniversary, it doesn't seem that long ago, I was here for the first time, and I've appreciated the support you have given me and SADAC along the way. One of the areas that we really are developing in is the area of non-alcohol and drug behavioral health and co-occurring disorders. In addition, we also have a very large and thriving prevention program and a criminal justice program reflected with we do a lot of work with Major Urge at the detention center. So we have a broad base of what we provide to the community, and I think that to reflect all that we do, and while our substance use disorder treatment will certainly continue to be our primary focus, but to reflect all of the services that we offer, kind of bring things up to match with the latest research around substance use disorders, really the nomenclature of abuse, substance use, abuse, and dependency. Those are being discovered that not really effective. So we want to get the nomenclature up to what the latest research is talking about with the spectrum of mental health and substance use disorders as a behavioral health issue. Just to make one correction, the name isn't exactly as what we're proposing on the agenda. We're actually proposing the Forrester Center for Behavioral Health. The reason why we want to pick this particular name is to honor David Forrester's 35 years of commitment to SADAC, commitment to the county, and his work in making us a viable and a financially stable organization. So I'm hoping you will support this, and thank you. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer them.
Do we have any questions?
I guess I'm a little lost. What changing the name doing with anything we're doing? You listed all of that to start with. You're going to continue what you're doing. You just asked if you change the name or?
Essentially, although over the last year our efforts have grown in the area of behavioral health. So many of the 301 agencies, which is what we are, the county agencies of substance abuse treatment, have changed their names long prior to this. We have Shoreline and the Phoenix Center, you may be familiar with in Greenville. SADAC brings with it a limited view of Spartanburg Alcohol and Drug Abuse Commission. While we do substance use disorder treatment, it's much broader than that. So we want to have a name that reflects that. There also is, as you may or may not know, in society, a stigma about alcohol and drug abuse. So sometimes people will look at our agency or hear that or see that as, well, it's just where you go if you got a DWI, or you just go there if you've had trouble and you're an alcoholic or an addict. And what we know in the new brain research is it's much more complicated than that. So we just want to capture that in our branding. Does that answer your question, sir?
Well, yes, you answered the question. I haven't seen a proposal or anything, so, for us to vote on anything, I don't think we're asking to vote. I'm just trying to get a feel, since I've not talked to anybody about what we're doing.
Chairman, if I could. No, okay. I was just going to say, Mr. Chairman, I'm not on the committee, but I would like to respond to this. I think we have seen over the past several years a decline in our ability for the state to actually step up to the plate when it comes to mental health care, treatment, and awareness. And what I see your organization do is you're reaching out into the community in a much broader and wider stance to kind of help meet the needs that we see are definitely within our community. So changing the name, I do think there is a stigma with alcohol and drug abuse as a label, and having it more as a behavioral health so that you're addressing many other situations and problems along with the alcohol and drug abuse epidemic that we have right now. So I can understand the need for that name change.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with Jane. I think it's smart. SADAC was a 25-year-old or older name. That's what
40.
it was. 40 years.
Yeah.
Times have changed. You know, when all you talk about is alcohol and drug abuse, that is not the problem. People don't become alcoholics or drug addicts because they want to. They have behavioral issues. And they're problems. And I think it is absolutely the right thing to do. I've been so impressed that you've been coming to meetings, and that's what you were doing. You're telling Spartanburg, we want to work. Spartanburg County citizens, we want to help get you, the help you need early on. And that sends the right message to the young people, too, the kids that are growing up with the problem. So I totally support the change.
Thank you. Just as just another side note, in doing we're working on a grant. Actually, we've been approved. We're doing some fine tuning on a co-occurring disorder grant for $250,000 will be awarded in July. I'll come back when we actually get the check. But what we found in our research is, and I'm sure might be telling you something you already know, but Spartanburg is considered to be a region lacking in mental health and behavioral health care. So I think recognizing that, we just want that to be what our brand is moving forward.
And you mentioned Major Urch and the programs he's working with within the community too, with your group and others, trying to to teach the folks that are residents at his facility right now. There is another path, and the experience that we've heard from Major Urch, the response has been overwhelming.
Major
Urch don't know.
He's been a wonderful partner, I think, in working with the criminal justice piece, both in our ESPER grant. I was explaining when I met with Councilman Bradley earlier, was the end of last week, that when you get our budget, you will see our ESPER program appears to be kind of not making money, but when you couple that with the benefits we're seeing at the detention center, it sometimes profit and sustainability shows itself in different ways, just to kind of speak to your point.
Mr. Chairman, we did ask Sue to come today to talk with you about this because we would be bringing the first reading of an ordinance to you at the April meeting for action. This is just for information, Councilman Walker. Just to have an opportunity to have you understand the background before this item is placed on your agenda for first reading. As you're aware, County Council as well as City Council are involved with SADAC, and there's actually an ordinance that establishes the board and their duties. So there's going to need to be some changes to that ordinance. We'll bring it to you in April, if that's okay with you.
Yep, absolutely.
And also in April, we'll have our full sort of plan along with return on investment expectations and all the final points and details of our plan.
And Sue, you did say that the correct name is the Forrester Center for Behavioral Health.
Yeah, the Forrester Center for Behavioral Health, just to be clear.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you.
Please
Sue.
feel free to call me at any time if you have any questions along the way.
Thank you.
And I had to say one more thing, Councilman Nutt, I believe I may be a neighbor of yours soon. We just purchased a house in Kingston Park. So we're very excited.
Good choice.
Yeah, I think so. We're very happy. So.
Fantastic.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you so much. All right, no other items for our committee.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Next, we have Personnel and Finance. Honorable Bob Walker, Chairman, Jeff Horton, Jane Hall, members. Mr. Walker.
Mr. Chairman, we have one issue for approval tonight, and that's to receive information, take desired action in reference to a lease agreement on the Second Presbyterian Church parking lot behind our building here. And County Administrator Catherine Neal will share us with that agreement that we've had for a number of years.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have been involved in an agreement with the Second Presbyterian Church to use their parking lot, and we've been very fortunate to have that relationship since 2002. When we entered into that agreement, it was a 12-and-a-half-year arrangement for us to reconsider the option of renewal this year. And the staff is recommending that you move forward with the agreement that's before you. It would adjust while we've been leasing the parking lot for $1 a year for the first 12-and-a-half years, the terms that we would be entering into would be $750 per month going forward, and then so that's for 5 years, and then the contract goes on to discuss the adjustments for CPI after that. This is it's a good opportunity for us to share a parking lot during the day, during the week, and our recommendation is for you to approve the lease agreement and authorize me to sign it.
And if I understand it correctly, Ms. O'Neill, the business that we're doing here at the county, the parking lot out front, all that stays pretty full and so forth. So this is basically, I guess, employees and so forth.
Yes, sir.
Park back there.
It's certainly open for anyone to use, but it's primarily used by our employees to free up space in the front and the back of the building for our citizens. There are many days, as many of the folks who are here in this building will attest to, that we ask our employees to actually park off-site beyond this lot that we're talking about in order to accommodate our citizens' traffic. So this just offers us on a day-to-day basis to make sure that those front row parking spaces and even the others that aren't necessarily front row are available for our customers.
Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Neal? All right, I'll entertain a motion that we approve this lease agreement and authorize the county administrator to sign and proceed forward.
Motion?
Got a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And the agreement's authority is approved. The next is, we want to receive information today regarding the proposed revised employee handbook. And each one of you should have one of these in front of you. And I'm going to ask, Ms. O'Neill gave me this a couple weeks ago and told me to read it by tonight. And I don't know whether I did that young, but I'm going to ask all y'all to do the same. She's going to share with us a little bit about what's in that revised agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you're aware, the county staff has been working on an update to our employee handbook, which is before you in draft form. The current handbook was last published for distribution in the 1990s. We're preparing a proposed handbook that's containing policies that have been revised for a couple of different reasons. There have been, obviously, since the 1990s, there have been changes in federal and state laws. We've been able to determine that we need to have some better consistency between our current practices and what we have in our current handbook. There's obviously been changes in technology. When this particular handbook that we're using right now was written, there wasn't email and social media and those types of technology available. And we've discovered over time that we need to clarify in areas where routine questions have arisen amongst our management team and our employees. So prior to presenting this before you, we've reviewed it a number of times with different audiences here at the county. Specifically, we had a core group from administration, human resources, and our legal team that reviewed the current policies and prepared its initial policy for review. Then we had selected policies dealing with specific areas within the county. We provided those to department heads that worked in that area. So for example, the finance department reviewed payroll, risk management, reviewed safety policies and substance abuse testing policies, and so on. When we received the feedback from these groups, we incorporated into the policies, even had a select cross-section of employees from elected officials to management, to frontline employees who helped us take a look at the draft. Then we took it to our department heads and management team as a group and had them provide their feedback, just hoping that we're going to go through this comprehensive level of a handbook revision. Hopefully we can touch on as many of the policies that need clarification as part of our management team may be able to reveal for us. So what we're asking for your help with is to take a look at the handbook and let us know if you see anything that we haven't touched on that you've heard us talk about that you think we should have a policy, or through your own business, you may see some policies that we haven't touched on that you think would be important for us to put out there as far as our handbook is concerned. These are guidelines for our management team, so it's a very important part of the way we do business on a daily basis. At your next meeting, Chairman Walker, we're also going to be asking you to recommend first reading in April of some changes to the grievance ordinance that would correspond with these handbook changes. So we'll start those. That's to be consistent with the wording that we'll have in the handbook as well. So those are just really announcement of coming attractions. So we'll be back to your committee in April to hopefully work through any amendments or changes to the guidelines that are provided in this handbook, and then report out to full council so you can support it.
So if I understand you correctly, you're asking us to look at this at the next meeting. If you've got any changes or any concerns or any amendments that we need to make, and I take it that will we vote on this at the next meeting in addition to the ordinance, the grievance ordinance? We've got to look at that.
Yes, so it'll be on your agenda for consideration, both the handbook and the grievance ordinance. And any council members, you're going through this, I'd love to sit down with you. We have a number of folks from Tony Bell to Lisa Claxton to Pip Morrow, and any of us can make ourselves available to you to walk through the entire handbook, a section of the handbook, a portion of it you have questions on. We'd be glad to do that. And that may be helpful to you to prepare for next month's meeting.
So basically you're asking us, don't wait till next meeting. If you got a question or anything you want to ask her and the staff or anybody, get a hold of them as soon as you can, and then we'll go from there then. All right, anybody else got a question for Ms. O'Neill? All right, the last thing is to receive the updated fine data and the personnel vacancies. That's in your book. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Next, we have livability. Honorable Jane Hogg, Chairman, David Britt, Michael Brown, members, and Jane, I would ask you to go ahead and do what you want to do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're getting ready to receive a progress report on the Tourism Action Plan, and I can assure you the reason this plan is successful is due to the hard work that one individual has put forth for so many years on this project, and that's Mayor Elaine Harris of Packlet. Right now, Elaine is a patient in the hospital undergoing medical testing and diagnosis. She covets everyone's prayers. She and the family know that you are with her on her journey. And she will have a press release or news conference next week at some time to let everyone know of her medical diagnosis and what will be forthcoming after that. Elaine is a true visionary. Through her love for the people of Packlet and Spartanburg County, we've seen her transition ideas into words, and words into a plan, and a plan into an action. And that action is coming to fruition, as we'll soon see when Chris Jennings does his presentation. I've never dealt with a woman that was as powerful as this little bitty woman from Packlet is. And she is an amazing person, and she's been a true mentor to me. And I think anyone who's dealt with Elaine understands what hard-headedness and perseverance and persistence can do. And she does it not for herself, but for the people that she so dearly loves, and that's the people of Packlet, and that includes all the people in Spartanburg County as well. So we just ask that you remember Elaine and her family at this time. She will be probably discharged from the hospital in the next day or two, and will be going home. But in the meantime, just keep her in your prayers. We appreciate you. So as we move forward, we're going to have Mr. Chris Jennings come forward and tell us about the Tourism Action Plan, the progress report, and an update on everything. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of council, it's good to be here today. I wish we had better news to start off, but it is a Chamber of Commerce kind of day out there today, isn't it? The sun is shining. We'll be doing the same, 80 degrees. Done my job, I don't need to do anything.
Well, I can assure you that I spent a couple hours with Elaine today, and her spirits are high, and she's looking so forward to your report.
I hope Trip Muldrow's here. I can't tell if he's in the back of me or not, but just a quick update, especially for new councilors. When I first started, 2009 actually, I was fortunate enough to have arrived about the time that this council, and several other industry folks who have been here and some who have left, put forward a plan, tourism action plan. It was tremendous that you saw that you provided that sort of vision. And again, I know that pit bull about that big, and her helper, her co-chair here, really helped get that forward. It was great to be part of that process. We have taken it to heart. Our staff, a number of staff people over the years, literally have the pages on our desks, what the recommendations were, and we're crossing those out. About 6 or 10 months ago, I'm looking at the plan going, we've pretty much done a lot of what we needed to do here, and fortunately, hopefully you have seen the updates to that as we've gone along. One of the things that we wanted to be able to do, though, was, okay, now what? This is the example of the plan. I wish I could get rid of it. I might be able to. Hang on, get rid of that little thing in the middle. Oh, no, that's not it. Sorry. Hang on. So this is what the plan looked like. So we wanted to make sure, okay, are we still doing our job? What next? And rather than going out for bid for another, let's bring Trip Muldrow and the team back and say, what's the progress report here? How are we doing? So I'm going to give you a couple of highlights today. The end result, you'll see, I think you each have this, and this is our next plan, and I'll get to that as I go through this quickly. But I want to thank, first of all, tremendous support, both this county council, the city council in Spartanburg, and many of the communities here, because what we've accomplished together, truly. It's tremendous to see the results that you're going to see here in just a second. Here's last year's quick plan of action. We take this plan and we try to make sure that it's going forward. What are some of the things? And I'll give you a couple of reviews of this. Sales, and this is different. Sales are things like working in partnership with the Parks Department and hosting softball tournaments or baseball tournaments or whatever the case may be from a tourism standpoint and sports tourism. But it also involves things with major conferences and groups. And here are just 4 of the last major events that happened in Spartanburg County because of that. And here's an example of how something can play out. One of your local, I think he's an accountant, is a collector of perfume bottles. And he made an overture, and Patricia Bird in our office followed up with it, that there's a national conference. Well, in April, this is a big deal for us coming up in 2015. It's the International Perfume Bottlers Association. Many of you may know, help bring that to town. He wants to make sure it's done right. Patricia's on the phone with them weekly, if not more, to make sure it's done right. Folks at the Chapman Cultural Center will be helping to host that. And Marriott will have a part of that as well. So there's an example of how the sales effort can really pay off for all of us. You hopefully knew about this last year. This was our big NSA softball tournament held out at all 3 parks around the county. But this was a great opportunity. This is just one of the ads that we did. I think this is a billboard that we did. Here's an example. Now I wanted to jump in a little bit of our update. And here's some things that the update noted that I wanted to talk to you about, our progress report, shall we say. A couple of things here. Dollars, the economic impact, and this is what everyone really wants to see. This is up from $170 million to almost $228 million of impact, what tourists are spending, and then how that ripples through the economy as well. As you all know now, you're seeing it here in dollars and cents. I had a great meeting with Jim and Catherine last week to share this information. This is all good news here, and it's really showing the power of this industry here. Tourism-related jobs, again, another big increase, just under 5,000. These are folks who are employed because of tourism. Those folks who weren't here spending their money, these folks wouldn't have jobs or be reliant on those tourism jobs. I wanted to show you some examples of where we've tried to partner. And I know the Parks Department does a very good job of showing their partnerships. Here's one that we did, I think, last fall, or maybe it was last spring, I guess, for about this time, to the new website that was being debuted. And this is a tremendous website that the Parks Department did. Again, this is a billboard that we did to help promote them. Here's an example where the 2015 campaign, we're again trying to play up what's going on here with Revolutionary War history, but also, as many of you know, we're opening up more access for rivers and greenways as well. We're going to start to show that as well in our advertising. Again, the sports tourism is becoming our bread and butter. We really like to see that. Here's an example of something we'll do in a sports publication that's playing up that as well. And here's an example where we're partnering again. You know, we've been approached by several folks, and I think you've seen this over the years, to help promote their activities and events. So the 3 events that are here, the Assault on Mount Mitchell, these are all bike races or bike events. The Criterion, the downtown Fast and Furious races, and then also Stump Jump, which the Parks Department puts on out at Cross State Park. That's mountain biking. There's 3 different events that we're going to claim it. We're a bike town. Now, the city has really been a great promoter of this. So again, you'll start to see this. I think this is, you're going out, if you went out Westgate and headed north up to Councilor Walker's district, you'll see the sign on the left, and there's another one on I-85 somewhere too. We'll try to tie those things in a timely manner, like we do with the Panthers camp when that comes in July. Another example, I think Councilor Walker knows about this, the Our Carolina Foothills group there, and it's crossing borders. This was mentioned 5 years ago in the original plan. You know, work with the equestrian groups. Well, now you have a major equestrian group up there. This is an example of where a number of different towns and communities have gotten together, asked us to co-op with them. We help pay. We get a little blurb in there as well. It's a great cross-promotion for us. I do this without getting that. You all talked about revolutionary, and this will be done. This is a project. This will be done quickly now, more quickly. There were only 3 sites. We have 10 different sites around the county to play our Revolutionary War history. We're going to get this done. We have the brochure ready. Unfortunately, these little signs that are going to be at each location, there's 2, maybe 3 still left to be put in the ground. We have some motivation now to get those up quicker. So we'll make sure that that gets done very quickly. We'll have an event for that as well. But these are all over that map you see there, all the different sites around the county that are playing up, just some of our Revolutionary War sites. I don't know why the state can't promote all of its parks the way some states do. But for some reason they can't, so we teamed up with Croft. I'm tired of seeing when I go to Cabela's and soon to be Bass Pro, all those other parks promoted, not having our park. We have a state park in this county. And from what I understand from the Palmetto Conservation Foundation, this could be a mecca for mountain biking. It already has an equestrian history there, but a mecca because you're 8 miles from downtown and bikers like to go eat and have some beer afterwards. So that's a pretty easy sale right there. We produced a trail map with the help of the Parks Department. We printed it. We're about to do a reprint of it because we ran out of the first 5,000. Great opportunity for us to team up, state and local, to make sure that gets done. Again, here's another example of trails. There are tons of these. We teamed up to do little pocket maps so that folks can see all around the county what there is to bike. And on Duncan Park, when you can hike as well. And as the greenways become more available, now we're going to start doing the same sort of thing for the greenways. Just want to give you a preview 2015 major events. These are just some of them. A couple of them, as you, I'm sure, are aware of, but there's 3 major softball events. And then again, I want to thank Wofford College, the city, Panthers camp is coming back for another 5 years. This is a tremendous boost for us as well. So we like to say stuff like this only happens in a place that's truly revolutionary, right here in Spartanburg County. I want to thank council again. I have seen personally, it's funny, I don't know, about a year ago as I was headed up Pine Street on the way up, I noticed something going on the Business 85 section. It just looked much cleaner. And then I went further up, past my daughter, she's at Upstate, and turned off and went, wow, this exit is looking tremendous. So I happened to text someone named Stuart Winslow and said, is there any chance you have anything to do with this? And he said, yes, back what Milliken does. And I don't know how you do it, but thank you. And I hope you do more of it. As I understand, county is working very hard to get that done. I think that is tremendous because those gateways are going to be really helpful. You'll see on your, they call it a strategy board, Tripp named this a strategy board. I think a number of these tie into your strategic plan. That's the point. We're all trying to make it one vision.
Mr. Muldrow has come in. Would you like to add anything to?
I will answer any questions, Councilwoman, if you have.
We didn't really see economic impact.
I'll come back to it. I think it was the first slide, graph-wise, and this is a big number. There's jobs, 227, almost 228 million. The press release that we sent out, and you should have a copy of it when you get back to your emails if you don't have it on your desk already, talks about Tripp's comment, this is remarkable growth. They haven't seen things like this in a number of different communities. So again, we should all take a bow and pat ourselves on the back. It's a team effort here. Tremendous opportunities. Tying into things like your parks enhancement plan, that's going to help us. I think it's Datamar is next up to be updated and has the soccer multi-purpose fields coming on board. Kristen from our office is already working with the Parks Department to try and get either lacrosse or Quidditch or whatever can be played on those fields, soccer as well. Those are helping us to bring more business here. It's a real opportunity.
I think also what we're seeing and this of course is parks related, but it's also talking about tourism and the impact that opening ourselves up as a county to be a sports destination in so many ways relates to the tourism and the economic impact. We have several groups looking at bringing different types of sports here that, isn't being played anywhere else in the upstate that we know of. So we're very excited about all that, and it's by opening ourselves up to receive people who like different things and be diverse that we're able to do all that we are doing. So thank you very much for all that you do.
Happy to do it. It doesn't hurt to have Wofford going to the NCAA tournament. 4 out of the last 6? The number of times they mentioned Spartanburg last night was tremendous. So,
Do we have any questions?
Let me say this. When you mentioned economic impact, I've sat up here before and I've talked about where we were, 1976, 1980, even 1990, when the county was a much different county then than it is now. We have come light years in 25 years. And Chris, you mentioned mainly because teamwork. The citizens of Spartanburg have supported our investment into our parks. When we did our hospitality tax, we did. A lot of people may not have liked it. They've seen the proof in the pudding. The reason we've had BMW expand and all the companies last year, the $2.4 billion in investment, it wasn't because our land was cheap. Every company that bought property here paid top dollar for it, and they wanted to be on prime spaces because we got something going on. Jane and Elaine Harris, Mayor Harris, years ago started pushing this tourism action plan because they knew what it meant, again, to everybody. We don't get these companies to invest here, again, because it's easy to come here. We got great opportunities for them. It's the whole package. They see everything that's going on. They can get their employees to move here, whether it's Japan, Germany, whatever, or even North Carolina moving here, or people in different parts of the state. This is a great place to live and work and do business. We're changing. And we're open to ideas from the waterways, the greenways, and our municipalities working with us. It is a different time, and we're very, very fortunate to be doing this, and we can't slow down. Chris has been great, even with Bass Pro Shop. She's been on conference calls with me as they start working to recruit, and Bass is developing that property themselves. I think we all know that. But their team that made the decision to move here, they're recruiting other companies and other businesses to go out on that site, hotels, retail shops and everything. Chris and his team have been helping out and doing things. Again, it is a team effort. And everything we're doing is so important. And I didn't know anything about Elaine Harris until you just mentioned it. I still don't know any more than you said. But not just the strongest female I've ever met, it's one of the strongest people I've ever met at promoting not just Packwood, but Spartanburg. Her love for this county. 10 years ago, I was on a rafting trip learning about the Packwood River and who drove, not only drove the vehicle to pick us up at Packwood, but helped us get the kayaks and canoes uphill, but Elaine, the mayor of Packwood. And Jane, too, the two of them, that is like Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris working together. They hit home runs and they win. you are a great team, and my prayers are to be for Elaine and her family and for Spartanburg. She is such a gem to all of us.
She might be down, but she's not out.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
assure you of that. So,
Our prayer can do great things.
so we're gonna keep that spirit going. So, thank you very much. Item 2 is to receive information and take desired action in reference to a request from the Parks Department to apply for the Spartanburg Regional Foundation grants. And Ms. Marcia Mark is here to present.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council. And before I go on with that request, I would like to say to Chris and his team, Chris and Kristen and Patricia, thank you so much. He mentioned our partnership and mentioned the Parks Department several times. They are a great and mighty team, and they do so much to help us promote what we do. So, thank you. Yes, I am here today. We submitted a letter of intent to the Spartanburg Regional Foundation last month, and we have now been invited to submit a full grant proposal. Therefore, we're seeking approval to move ahead with submitting that proposal to Spartanburg Regional Foundation for $10,000. There was an inadvertent error on the grant submittal proposal form stating the request was $50,000. We actually have a $50,000 challenge grant from the Mary Black Foundation, and this, if we receive it, this $10,000 will be used as a match to the challenge grant. The grant monies will be used towards construction materials for Cleveland Park Playground, and we'll submit a corrected form for the grant request.
Any questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor of submittal of this grant application, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Did we?
I move, I make a motion.
We need a motion.
Make a motion.
Second. Okay, now all those in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that concludes our liability committee.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Jane, thank you again for your hard work on that tourism year ago. Elaine spent a lot of hours on that plan. Public Safety and Judiciary, Honorable Michael Brown, Chairman, Roger Nutt, Bob Walker, Members. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have essentially 5 matters coming before the committee. The first of which is to receive information and take desired action in reference to a grant from the MacArthur Foundation. Major Neil Rich is here to present information.
Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing well. About this time 4 years ago, Sheriff Wright began speaking about taking the responsibility of the jail. And I have to admit, I was apprehensive at first. But as time passed and I could see the direction he was headed, and as any good soldier would do, I wholeheartedly supported his decision. When I arrived at the jail on July 2nd, 2011, I was a fish out of water and was overwhelmed with the considerations and decisions that have to be made on a daily basis. My perspective from then until now has changed. I will submit to you that a person's perspective is based on their position and their experience, and is their reality. As your position and experience changes, so does your perspective. One constant problem that plagued the previous administration and still plagues us today is that of overcrowding. There are 2 main functions to jail operations. The first is referred to as booking and release, which is where a person is arrested and charged with a criminal offense. They are transported to the jail by the arresting agency and processed by jail personnel in preparation to go in front of a magistrate for bond. If they are able to pay bond, the process is reversed and they are released pending their appearance in court to answer for the charge. The other main part of the jail is housing. A person is housed in the jail until court if they are unable to post bond. This is true for about 85% of the jail's population. The other 15% consists of people who have been convicted of a sentence which carries 90 days or less, or someone who is serving a family court sentence for non-support, which normally carries a sentence of confinement from between 6 months to a year. In fiscal year 14, the Spartanburg County Detention Center processed people 15,752 times, while the average daily population was 727 adult males and females. At the same time, the rated capacity of the jail is 496. I have come to the conclusion and agreement with my predecessor that a jail expansion is absolutely necessary, mainly because our employees who work in the jail are working under unnecessary stressful conditions, and being out of compliance with state and federal regulations puts us in a risk of irrefutable challenges. But we cannot build our way out of this problem alone without putting other plans in place. All across the nation, jails have become a place to put people that nobody else knows what to do with, including those suffering from mental illnesses and those who suffer from alcohol and drug addictions. It has become a place where those with medical conditions will receive treatment that is very expensive and burdensome on the allotted budget. It is my belief that we can put together a plan that includes public, private, and nonprofit partnerships that, with the jail's assistance identifying those individuals, will be best served in some other type of setting, while all at the same time keeping the public safety in mind. Since now, having some time to analyze the jail operations and how we use our jail in this community, and understanding that our citizens expect us to make wise decisions that not only affect the potential safety of our community, but also affect how we spend public funds for which we are entrusted, it is my recommendation that we begin to explore other alternatives that may help to reduce the population of the jail, and in turn reduce the expense of incarceration, also reducing the cost of jail expansion. Most estimates received on any type of expansion are done on a per-bed basis. If we plan, organize, and incorporate some alternatives that would ultimately maintain or reduce the number of those incarcerated, then that could cut the cost, and the cost also would be reduced for expansion. I come before you this afternoon to request your permission to apply for a grant from the MacArthur Foundation. This foundation is based out of Chicago and has solicited applications for a safety and justice challenge. The application is due at the end of this month. They will choose 20 sites nationally who will receive $150,000 from May to December of this year to perform a study and come up with a plan aimed at reducing the overuse of the jail. This will only be successful if we have total buy-in from the judicial branch of our county government and all the law enforcement agencies of our county. Understanding each other's goals and objectives, and also the issues and struggles we face, is one step in working together to fix the problem. In round two of this grant, 10 of those 20 sites will be selected by the foundation and provided with up to $2 million annually to assist in the implementation of those programs planned or developed during round one. There are no matching funds required by the county, and there is no expected increase in staffing at this time. I ask for your permission to apply for this grant.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
If I could say, I swear that I want to stand up and give empty praise to anyone. But I definitely want to thank you for your efforts that you've done on a repeated basis. And I've seen this and one of the things that I think one of the impacts that this grant is attempting to do is to address some of the disproportionate aspects as it impacts low-income communities and communities of color.
That's absolutely right, sir.
And I do appreciate your efforts in that regard. And I also have to thank a guy that I never want to thank ever publicly, Jim Hitt. I'll say somebody else. But I know initially you and Jim, the two of you came up and had a discussion about this and attended that meeting on Friday in which you were unveiling this to a number of community stakeholders and seeking their support. I don't think any person that left that room would deny you that level of support that you see. So we do really appreciate this. And I know this is a very strong foundation of doing some good work in terms of addressing public policy issues. And it's amazing when you know this issue goes across the spectrum of society. I know Congressman Galley's office was well represented, and I think I heard some people directly from his office say that he would be in full support. As well as hearing from on the national scene, Senator Rand Paul, Corey Booker and others on both sides of the political aisle see the need for this type of reform. I know this is happening throughout the country, but in particular in Spartanburg, I do see a need for this. And thank you for bringing this to council. I look forward to supporting this.
It's my pleasure. I feel like the jail is a barometer of the community's health. The worst of the worst come there, and if we don't focus on where we're at, there's a very large unmet need in this community, and Sue O'Brien's absolutely right. Many times those are co-recurring conditions, and we're having to do a lot of that stuff in a jail. Guys, my staff's just not trained to do that, and we need some help. We need some help.
Chairman, I want to agree with you wholeheartedly, Mr. Chairman. I think this is a very worthy endeavor, Major, and appreciate what you've been doing not only in this, but everything, all the other jobs that you have, that you really, I know you really work behind the scenes. It's very hard on this. I'm going to recommend that our committee recommend this to full council.
The no matching funds help, right?
Always. Always. You knew that was coming. I didn't have that.
I did know the question was coming.
I saw it was on here, but I didn't have that.
It's been probably moved in second. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, let it be known by the words of aye. None opposed. We'll send this on the full council again. Thank you.
Yes, sir, my pleasure. Thank you.
And Neil, I don't think we need you since no one else on council want to ask you any questions. So thank you so much, sir. Next, we have before us to receive information and take desired action in reference to a resolution ratifying a mutual aid agreement between the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office and the Darlington County Sheriff's Office. Captain Mark Ferry is here to present.
Yes, not the sheriff. The sheriff's out today. If y'all are looking at the sheriff, he had oral surgery this morning, so he's recuperating at home. Good afternoon, council. I'm here just to discuss the mutual aid agreement we are proposing with Darlington County. This is just an agreement to provide law enforcement services to each other's jurisdiction. One example is this Operation Rolling Thunder, and then they have one just like it called Operation Strike Force, where we go down and assist them as well. Any questions?
Any questions? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Probably moving to second. All in favor, let it be known by the words of aye.
Aye.
None opposed. We'll send this on the full council for its consideration. Next, something very similar. Receive information, take desired action in reference to a resolution ratifying a mutual aid agreement between Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office and Florence County Sheriff's Office. Same thing.
It's verbatim the same thing. Florence and Darlington County put on the same show down there. It's right there, I-20, I-95 corridor. Pretty much the same thing. It's just an agreement with those two counties.
Mr. Chairman, I move that this committee recommend full adoption to the full committee, full council.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. And we send this to the full council for its consideration to adopt the resolution. All in favor, let it be known as aye.
Aye.
None opposed. We'll send this to council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Mary. I would.
Thank you. I don't think there will be a need for you to stick around.
I've still got two more to go.
Yes, sir. For formality purposes.
I thought you said finished.
Next, receive information, take desired action in reference to a resolution approving an agreement for extended police jurisdiction for the city of Inman within the public right-of-way located near the city limits of the city of Inman and known as New Cut Road from the intersection of Southfield to Blackstock Road, a distance of 0.2 miles, and Blackstock Road from the intersection of New Cut to the intersection of 292 for a distance of 1.2 miles. Captain Berry, did you and the chief explain what I just said?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. These two areas in Inman, or Spartanburg County, Inman goes through it just to get to another side of Inman. The sheriff's in agreement to allow Inman to use that right of way and come in and actually have jurisdiction there. Chief Tucker with Inman Police Department is here if you have any questions. He could probably explain exactly what their plans of operation are right there too.
What we have is on Southfield subdivision, we have a housing development, supposed to be 100 houses coming, and it's on Southfield Road. In Southfield Road, there is 2 daycares, and it's a lot of elderly communities, and there's a lot of different housing developments in that area. We get a lot of complaints from the residents talking about the speeders. The officers with my department have clocked people in excess of 35 miles over the posted speed limit. It's 35 miles an hour. Children's playing. So what I'm proposing is that if we could do this, the main thing we want to do is slow them down. Some of the enforcement that I would like to do is put a speed trailer out, just have marked patrol cars out, and just try to slow people down on that road and make it safer. Also, if there's an accident there, we can handle it. We're now having to wait on highway patrol half an hour or so to get there. The other one on Blackstock Road, we actually drive through a part of that, it's in the city. 2 nursing homes there, and it's real congested there behind the house. And there's a church there. So we're trying to just increase the visibility and be able to enforce there if we have to.
You said that there is an increase in terms of housing developments off of Southfield?
Yes, sir. The Bliss Fork subdivision, the site I think calls for 100 houses. So there's a lot more traffic there than what it has been.
What about the width of the road right there?
It's 2-lane road. It's just a 2-lane road, and like I said, we just want to slow people down. It's not to try to do any type of over-enforced or anything. It's just to try to handle some of the complaints. It's kind of bad when you pass somebody and they're running 35 miles over the speed limit, and you just wave at them when they're going by.
Anyone else on the committee have any questions?
I would share that I've had some calls in this area, and I went out and looked at it. I looked at it more from the county road situation than I did enforcement. I know what Chief Tucker is talking about. I don't know how the committee wants to. I think we probably need to look at it, make sure that we've got everything in order here as to how this is going to be done. And I have not looked at it from your perspective, from the enforcement perspective. So I would ask that we postpone action on it today, and we look at all this and get a consideration as to how we proceed.
And Councilman Walker, this is actually in your council district.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. And like I said, I've been out and looked at the road. I've got some calls. I rode it out on Southfield especially.
Yes.
This one's a very narrow road. They are building that large development there, and it's got 2 very sharp curves in it. And I think we've got, I don't know, 15-mile speed limit, I think, in some of that area. So it is, and it's a cut through from High Bridge area, if everybody knows where the High Bridge area is, over to New Cut, to bypass downtown Inman. So the residents in that area are the ones that contacted me, and I'm concerned with that. But like I said, I don't know how we've been handling these in the past. So my suggestion is that we sit down and look at, get Chief and Captain Berry and the sheriff and all that. Let's make sure we're in agreement as to how we're going to handle this, as far as enforcement, as far as how we would need to handle whenever people are stopped, who's going to be responsible, and what courts are going to be involved, and all that.
Any comments? So it's some recommendation of the committee that we postpone it at this time, and have a chance to study it at some future date.
Right.
Chance to bring it back before council.
That's my feeling.
No official action needed.
Now, Mr. Chairman, I'm assuming that would be for item D and E on your...
Yeah. The next one's the same one, Ms. O'Neill. I mean, it's not the same one, but it's the same road structure in there.
Thank you.
Now, imagine this for the purpose of the record, so I'll put it on the record in terms of the next one for its consideration as well. So, receive information, take desired action in reference to a resolution approving an agreement to extended police jurisdiction for the city of Emmett within the public right-of-way located near the city limits of the city of Emmett and known as Southfield from Hampton Road to the intersection of Newcut Road, a 1.1 mile stretch of roadway. It's desired that the committee
Slide over.
we'll have a chance to consider this in the committee before we bring it to full council attention consideration. Hopefully at some future day. Thank you. I think that's all the matters that have come before this committee, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. No items under land use today. We do have some items under public works. Honorable Roger Nutt, Chairman, David Tripp, Justin Bradley, members, Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today we are going to receive a report regarding activities at the landfill. Mr. Brown, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having
What
me.
you got for us?
Just a couple of quick items. So this is really the first part of a two-part presentation. Today, just wanted to make you aware of a construction project we're planning to finish up here this spring. So it involves a replacement of a culvert at the main entrance into the landfill. So we didn't, or I don't anticipate any kind of operational issues with this construction, meaning I do not anticipate having to restrict access or close the landfill. We didn't plan to perform this construction this spring. However, we have been able to identify adequate funding. So that's summarized in your packet, and I certainly appreciate your willingness to review that and your help completing the project.
Mr. Brown, I know you've gone through a lot of iterations trying to figure out how to get people in and out, and
we have
done a lot of that without spending double money. So I appreciate your efforts on that.
No, thank you. The second item I have for you today really involves the way that we handle solid waste and also recycling services at our facilities. So this doesn't include our convenience centers, but it does include our other facilities. So the administration building, the courthouse, the sheriff's office. So in late 2014, we actually contracted with a new vendor for these services. And when we did that, we were able to save roughly $8,000 or $10,000 on an annual basis just by going with a new contractor. But another part of the contract is recycling services. So the more we recycle, the more we save money. Recycling services are on the order of 20 to 25% cheaper than solid waste services. So one thing we're trying to do now is really promote that to our employees. So try to educate them, and that way they can educate the customers that come out to these facilities. So I brought Jess with me today, so she's going to talk a little bit more about what those recycling services are. We tried to make it a little easier, tried to go with single stream, so she's going to try to define that a little more for us. We also have a couple of programs coming up in the next couple of months. So I'm going to turn it over to Jess and kind of let her take it from here.
Thank you.
How's everybody doing? So I'm here to define single-stream recycling as far as what that means for county employees and county buildings in which the county handles the trash and recycling services. This does not apply to the 17 recycling centers that are staffed that are best residents. Single-stream recycling simply means that all your recyclables go in the same container. Recyclables being mixed paper and cardboard, bottles, cans, glass, plastic, all goes in the same container. That's simple. It does apply to the out-of-port recycling center, which is our one unstaffed recycling center. It's the one that's used by the administration building, and a lot of residents use that too. So there was an interesting area that I had to address with residents. This is our one recycling center that you can use. It is single stream. No other center is single stream. Single stream makes it easy and convenient to recycle. You just chunk everything in the same bin, you're done, you walk away. Trash goes in one, recycling in the other, done. The 17 recycling centers for the county residents, those are dual stream. Paper cardboard goes in one container, everything else goes in the other. I assume everybody knows that because I assume you're all recycling. If you're not, then give me a call, we'll talk about it. We do appreciate all county employees participating in the recycling program. It's really important, not only because everybody knows the environmental benefits of recycling and how recycling does help preserve valuable landfill space, but also the economic benefits of recycling. The countywide single stream recycling program has helped the county realized 20 to 25% reduction in solid waste costs. So it's a pretty significant impact, and as long as county employees continue to participate, recycle as much as they can, waste paper, cardboard, anything from your lunch, the can, bottle, jar, things like that, saves and makes me really happy. In addition to all the great stuff happening in recycling, we have our upcoming household hazardous waste collection event. I know you guys have heard about it. I'm sure you saw my ad in the paper. All right, that's going to be on March 28th from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. here at the County Administration Building in the front parking lot. It's our 7th annual event. We usually see anywhere from 300 to 600 residents. We have an incredible team of volunteers. We have the Men's Garden Club, Master Gardeners of Spartanburg, Upstate Forever, Spartanburg County Stormwater, Spartanburg County Recycling, employees, volunteers, all kinds of people out here. People love this event. They look for this event. They wait for it. They have me call them in March to remind them of the date of the event. This is open only to Spartanburg County residents. We do not take anything from non-county residents. We don't take materials from businesses. Let's see here. Big event happening. Hope to see y'all there. Next event is our community cleanup event for residents in the lower part of the county. This year's event is going to be in the city of Woodruff. We are going to be taking items that we typically only accept at the landfill, or we only accept at limited recycling centers. We offer this service to residents in the lower part of the county because they live very, very far from the landfill. I'm a resident of the lower part of the county, and I drive to the landfill every day. It's a very long drive. So we will be accepting things like construction demolition materials, furniture, yard debris such as brush, limbs, things like that. We will also be taking electronics, scrap metal, appliances, and up to 5 tires per household. So that's stuff normally you have to bring into the landfill, and nobody wants to do that. So it's a huge event. We've had 2, one in Woodruff last year, one in Packlet last year, and a big shout out to Mayor Harris for that. Extraordinarily successful events. I was actually shocked by how many people attended these events and thanked us for the service that we were offering. So thank you guys for letting us do this. We really appreciate it. In addition to all that, it's Earth Day coming up, and Earth Day means my busy time of year. So I don't have a chance to breathe or think until May. We've got some public programs coming up. I do green cleaning programs that are going to be going on at some of the branch libraries. There are some green crafts made out of recycled materials, which is really fun because I'm not a crafty person. Get to teach those. We have our Earth Day event at the library. That's a partnership with the League of Women Voters of Spartanburg County Public Libraries, and Spartanburg County Recycling. A whole lot of different government agencies, nonprofit agencies come out and talk about what they've got going on as far as summer camps, greenways, blueways, nature trails. The Hub City Co-op is going to be there, the Farmers Market's going to be there, so pretty cool event for Earth Day. It's actually Spartanburg County's only real Earth Day event, at least as far as I can see. Discover Your Watershed is a great big partner event. That's going to take place on April 18th, and that's Spartanburg County Stormwater, the Stormwater Consortium, which includes SJWD Water District, Clemson Extension, Spartanburg Stormwater Conservation District, City of Greer, and probably about 10 other agencies that I can't think of right now. Huge event. People get to kayak for free, so they come out. Earth Day Science Saturday will be happening at the Spartanburg Science Center, in which I will be there talking about Earth Day and science and landfills, and we will probably do things like create your own edible landfill and talk about how landfills are built and designed. It's really, really fun, so feel free to come out and stop by. There's more on here. I can keep going, but I'm going to stop. Just check out our Facebook page, and then you'll know what all's going on. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
I don't have anything to do.
Yes, I didn't hear you mention the hazardous materials. Have we had that day already to clean up?
No, it's coming up March 28th.
March 28th. That's a very important day. It's a very important program, and let's support this initiative. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Just can you run down what all you take on March 28th here at the building?
Okay, ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, we are going to take pesticides, fertilizers. We are going to be taking any kind of acids, corrosive materials. We take mercury. We take fluorescent tubes. We will take fire extinguishers, propane tanks, small, not large, swimming pool chemicals, batteries, regular batteries that that's kind of an interesting thing. We do not recycle regular batteries at our recycling center. So, well, basically anything except for radioactive materials, anything except for medical waste, and anything that's not coming from the business. So,
E-waste and all that stuff as well?
no, e-waste is not a toxic chemical, so we don't consider e-waste toxic.
So this is for toxic.
Just toxic stuff?
Yes, this is toxic and hazardous materials.
And that'll be here in the parking lot?
Paint, yes, in the parking lot, definitely paint. We do have our flyer with the entire list. I mean, I'm talking about like there's 20 things on there. I think 23 items that we do take and like 5 that we don't. But it's on the county homepage under the current events section, under the recycling page and Facebook.
I just have one comment.
Yes.
I've never met anybody that gets so excited over trash as James.
I do love to talk trash.
It's been said, it smells like money. It cost you, or you're gonna make it.
Exactly. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Very exciting.
Edible landfills, what caught mine.
There you go. I get everybody. I just want to say, Chris, come here. Chris, did you have anything to do with having Spartanburg mentioned on the House of Cards the other night? Or the
Sure, I'll take credit for
all
that.
right. Congratulations on that. Always in a good light. Anything else? All right, your information about our Public Works Department activities this month is in your packet. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes our agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Nutt, and that concludes our committee meetings, and adjourn and return at 5:30. Thank you for your attendance. Okay, thank you for your attendance. Earlier today, we had our committee meetings. First item of the invocation is our invocation, Chaplain Amos Durham. Mr. Durham, good to see you today again, sir.
Let's all stand. Let's pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you today for all that you have supplied for us. You've given us life, health, and strength. Thank you for the sound mind that you've given us and a pure heart to want to serve you and do those things that's pleasing in your sight. We come tonight as we call on your name, confessing all that we've done that has not been pleasing in your sight, asking for your forgiveness. And we come, Father, asking that you continue to motivate us to do those things which are right. We come tonight asking your guidance and leadership in this council meeting. Certainly thank you for the leadership that you blessed Spartanburg County with, from all of our county administrators, county elected officials, and also county council. Thank you for all that you do. And we can never praise you enough for your goodness and your kindness. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. And would you lead us in the pledge?
Attention, sword.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have an array of presentations today. The first is a presentation of the Lifetime Award in Sustained Excellence in Risk Management Award by Mr. John Henderson, South Carolina, Association of Counties, Mr. Terry Booker to receive. So, Mr. Henderson, good to see you today. Good to have you with us.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the Association of Counties to recognize Spartanburg County for some awards that were presented on January 29th at our Insurance Trust membership meeting. The first award is the Sustained Excellence in Risk Management Award. This award, as its name states, is given to counties that continue to raise the bar in their risk management program and improve from year to year. This award has been presented numerous years in a row to Spartanburg County, and it's a pleasure to present it again this year. Not everybody continues to improve. Sometimes they rest on their laurels a little bit, and that results in higher premiums down the road and more accidents for folks, but y'all are continuing to get better year after year. And this is the result of the support from County Council and all the employees and the administrator and the hard work of Mr. Booker and all the other folks that are safety representatives within their respective departments. So, congratulations. The next award is our lag time award. Let me give you a little explanation about that. Lag time is the difference in time from when an employee is injured and they let a manager know that they've sustained a work-related injury for which they're seeking medical treatment. We track lag time because it's very important to have that number as small as possible, because the shorter the time period between the injury and the handling of the claim, the better for the employee and better medical treatment quicker, and ultimately lower costs and improved relations with the employee. What was your number this year? Is it like 0.16 days? Something incredible number. And that means that y'all are on top of it and people are getting medical treatment they need. And that makes them for better relations with the employees and the employer. And it's just a good thing all around. One more thing I will say that is really outstanding that has been done here is bringing people back to work in a restricted capacity before they're fully healed, but finding a job that they can do rather than sitting on the sofa and stretching it out. And bringing people back early like that allows them to heal quicker, and it's better for the county, better for the employee, and ultimately results in lower costs. So y'all are doing a great job, and I really appreciate the support that County Council has done and the work of all the employees to support this program. So it's a second place award, lag time, Spartanburg County. Thank you very much, and appreciate y'all's continued membership in the Association of Counties and the Insurance Trust.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Mr. Booker, thank you too, sir. Next, we have item B, a resolution proclaiming April 6 through 11, 2015 as Community Development Week in Spartanburg County. Ms. Jane Hall to present. We have Slender Todd here to proceed.
Hello, how are you? This is a resolution proclaiming April 6th through the 11th as Community Development Week in Spartanburg County. Whereas the week of April 6th through the 11th, 2015 has been designated as National Community Development Week by the National Community Development Association to celebrate the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program and Home Investment Partnerships HOME program. And whereas the CDBG program provides annual funding and flexibility to local communities to provide decent, safe, and affordable housing, a suitable living environment, and economic opportunities to low and moderate income people. And whereas the HOME program provides funding to local communities to create decent, safe, and affordable housing opportunities for low-income persons. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Spartanburg County Council designates the week of April 6th through the 11th as Community Development Week in support of these two valuable programs that have made tremendous contributions to the viability of the housing stock, infrastructure, public services, and economic vitality of our community. Be it further resolved that this community urges Congress and the administration to recognize the outstanding work being done locally and nationally by the Community Development Block Grant and HOME programs by supporting increased funding for both programs in fiscal year 2016. Adopted the 16th of March 2015, Jeffrey A. Horton, Chairman, and Catherine O'Neill, County Administrator. Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt this resolution.
Have a motion? Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, I vote affirmative. Passes. Thank you, Ms. Hall.
It's my pleasure to present this to you. Thank you.
Jane. So we might want to just hang around. Again, we have item C, a resolution proclaiming April 2015 as Fair Housing Month, Spartanburg County.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
This is a resolution proclaiming April as Fair Housing Month in Spartanburg County. Whereas April 2015 marks the 47th anniversary of the passage of the Federal Fair Housing Act 1968, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act, as amended, which sought to eliminate discrimination in housing opportunities and to affirmatively further housing choices for all Americans. And whereas the state of South Carolina enacted the South Carolina Fair Housing Law in 1989, and whereas the county rejects discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin in the sale, rental, or provision of other housing services, and whereas the county desires to have all its citizens have afforded the opportunity to attain decent, safe, and sound living environment, and whereas the county supports fair housing efforts to eliminate discrimination in housing and supports programs that will educate the public about the right to equal housing opportunities, and whereas each year the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development designates the month of April as Fair Housing Month, now therefore be it resolved that Spartanburg County Council does hereby proclaim April as Fair Housing Month in Spartanburg County, adopted this 16th of March 2015, tested by Jeffrey Horton, Chairman, and Catherine O'Neill, County Administrator. Mr. Chairman, I propose that we approve this resolution.
You have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, I vote affirmative. It passes. Thank you, Mr. Nutt.
Thank you.
Next, we have item D, a resolution proclaiming March 2015 as Disabilities Awareness Month in Spartanburg County. Ms. Meriden here, as Vice Chair of Disability and Special Needs, to receive. Thank you.
This is a resolution proclaiming March 2015 as Disabilities Awareness Month in Spartanburg County. Whereas more than 500,000 South Carolina residents and families are impacted by severe lifelong disabilities, including autism, head injuries, spinal cord injuries, intellectual disability, and related disabilities, without regard to race, culture, geography, age, sex, or economic class. And whereas people with lifelong disabilities are productive citizens, neighbors, and family members deserving of respect and opportunities for economic self-sufficiency, independence, and personal growth. And whereas the South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs and the Spartanburg County Board of Disabilities and Special Needs work with families to provide services that promote independence and inclusion. And whereas we owe a special debt of gratitude to the caregivers who selflessly provide physical, emotional, and spiritual support to our residents with disabilities and special needs. And whereas the 2015 observance of Disabilities Awareness Month celebrates a successful partnership between people with and without disabilities, as well as the increasing involvement of people with disabilities in education, employment, and community activities. Now therefore be it resolved that Spartanburg County Council does hereby proclaim March as Disabilities Awareness Month in Spartanburg County and encourages our citizens to work together to promote increased opportunities for people with disabilities, to recognize the many contributions made by people with disabilities to our community, and to honor the dedication of the caregivers who bring support and hope to their fellow citizens. Adopted the 16th day of March 2015, signed by Jeffrey A. Horton, Chairman, and attested by Catherine L. O'Neill, County Administrator. Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt this resolution.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, and I vote affirmative. It passes.
Thank you. Good to see you. Would you like to say a few words?
I just want to say on behalf of the Spartanburg County Disabilities and Special Needs that we are so grateful to be recognized each year, especially in March for this. This is my daughter, and she lives with a disability every year, so this really means a lot as a mom to be here and be recognized. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Dave. Item E, resolution proclaiming the week of April 12 through April 18, 2015 as Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week in Spartanburg County. Senior Animal Control. Deputy Roberts here to receive. Mr. Walker.
Thank you, sir. A resolution proclaiming the week of April 12th through April 18th, 2015 as Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week in Spartanburg County. Whereas in support of the efforts by the National Animal Control Association to recognize the important services provided by animal control agencies, officers, support staff, the week of April the 12th through April the 18th, 2015 has been designated as Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week. Whereas Spartanburg County Animal Control Officers stand ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, playing an essential role in safeguarding and protecting the citizens of Spartanburg County. These officers many times put their personal safety at risk for the citizens and animals of Spartanburg County while serving the community through investigating cases of cruelty to animals, impounding animals running at large, and confronting dangerous, vicious, and nuisance animals. I'll get it right in a minute, thank you. Whereas during calendar year 2014, Environmental Enforcement Department animal control officers responded to 9,502 requests for services. Now therefore be it resolved that Spartanburg County Council does hereby proclaim the week of April the 12th through April the 18th, 2015 as Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week in conjunction with National Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week, and joins in honoring the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our county and citizens safe, and encourage all citizens to join in expressing their sincere thanks, gratitude, and appreciation. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to the Spartanburg County Environmental Enforcement Department in recognition and appreciation of such services, and be made a part of the minutes of the Spartanburg County Council adopted this 16th day of March 2015, signed County Council Chairman Jeff Horton, attested by Catherine O'Neill, County Administrator. Mr. Chairman, I move for adoption of this resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Got one affirmative, and it passes. Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next, we have item F, a resolution endorsing and supporting the statewide zero tolerance for litter campaign during the month of April, conducted by South Carolina Litter Control Association, Palmetto Pride, and Keep America Beautiful. Litter Officer William Williams to receive, and Mr. Justin Bradley here to present. Come on, you can stand up here too. Yeah.
This is a resolution endorsing and supporting the statewide zero tolerance for litter campaign during the month of April, conducted by the South Carolina Litter Control Association, Palmetto Pride, and Keep America Beautiful, South Carolina. Whereas the aftermath of littering by anyone through their omission or commission leaves a blighted stain on our quality of life standards and adversely affects our beautiful communities and our wonderful Spartanburg County. Whereas zero tolerance for litter is a project which began 16 years ago, and in the beginning was only a 3-day event. It has grown into a month-long campaign. The main purpose are to raise everyone's awareness about the act of littering, reduce the overall amount of litter, and increase overall enforcement of this crime. Whereas special attention will be given to vehicles hauling unsecured loads, active illegal dumping, and motorists or pedestrians improperly tossing away items, including cigarette butts. Other items of focus will be properly containerized household garbage, commercial dumpsters, loading docks, and construction debris. Whereas the citizens of Spartanburg County and local law enforcement agencies have become a leader by taking a proactive stance on litter each day. Now therefore, be it resolved, the Spartanburg County Council does hereby proclaim the month of April 2015 as zero tolerance for litter in Spartanburg County, and encourages all citizens to work together, stand firm against the act of littering, and act responsibly this month and throughout the year for a cleaner community to preserve the natural beauty of our community, state, and country. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to Spartanburg County Environmental Enforcement Department in recognition and appreciation of such services, and be made part of the minutes of the Spartanburg County Council. Adopted the 16th day of March 2015, signed by Jeffrey A. Horton, Chairman, Spartanburg County Council, and Catherine L. O'Neill, County Administrator.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt this resolution.
Second. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, I vote affirmative. It passes. Thank you, Justin.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Jamie, don't leave out. I got some more to say to you, too.
Okay, thanks, sir. Just want to take a moment on two stance. As well as being the Director for Environmental Enforcement, I'm also the City President of the South Carolina Litter Control Association. In the earlier session, Councilman Britt made a comment that Spartanburg County is light years ahead in many of the items that we're doing. And litter control is one of the ones that we are extremely ahead of most of the counties and state agencies. And I want to take a moment and say thank you, because it's what's coming out of this council has got us to where we are. I mean, there's still going to be litter along our roadways, and these gentlemen are still going to do their job. But trust me, out of the 96 members that we have in our association, touching municipalities from Oconee to Charleston to Chesterfield to Spartanburg, we are way ahead of most of the agencies, and I appreciate you guys, so thank you.
Jamie, I wanted to thank you and also Kathy, and, you know, with animal control, I think things have been running a lot smoother in the past few years, and y'all do a tremendous job in that realm. It's a thankless job, it's a tough job, so I want to thank you for that. And then getting to our roadways, you know, nothing sickens me more than to see trash on the side of our roads. And I got word to Jamie 2 weeks ago, I guess, that by Hanging Rock Road, this little road I travel a lot, I'm sure you do too, Justin, and just lined with litter and limbs and things. And so Jamie contacted me and said, Jeff, we picked up 38 bags, how was it?
Yes, sir.
38 bags of trash on the little road, got the limbs up. Oh, I died the next day. I'm driving in, there are 2 mattresses laying on the side of the road, 2 tires, after they had just cleaned this road up. So it is, you know, while it is discouraging, by grannies, we're going to keep fighting, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate this team, and I just wish every person in Spartanburg, I know it's just a small group that does things, but they just don't know what it does to our community. We got to keep fighting those individuals. But I appreciate what your team did the other day. You picked that road, looked great, and then the very next day there's 2 mattresses and 2 tires on the side of the road. But you did your job, and I appreciate that a lot.
Irresponsible people, but it's job security for us. So.
Thank you. Next, we get to employee recognition, and before I bring Catherine up, I want to take just a moment and recognize Mr. Jim Hill. You've been with us 5 years. Mr. Hill, we appreciate your tenure here in Spartanburg County, okay? And then also this month, it's Debbie Ziegler. Debbie's our clerk to council, has been with us 14 years, Debbie, so thank you for your work. We couldn't do it without you. You make us look good, and we love you to death. And how many your wedding anniversary? 37? 38 years wedding anniversary as well. So congratulations to you and Jim for your tenure with us, okay? Thank you. Catherine?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of council. Know that we make a special effort to re-present awards that are given to our county and to our employees. And we had a very important award that was given to a member of council here recently. And so with the chairman's help, while we won't be actually re-presenting the award, Councilman Hall, we do have something special. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Chairman. And Councilman Hall, will you join us here, please? I'm not sure that everybody else knows about the award that you received. In February, Spartanburg Methodist College hosted its annual Pioneering Women's Award Luncheon, acknowledging the achievement of women of character, courage, and commitment in the upstate community. The college recognized Councilman Hall, who represents District 4, with its Political Leadership Award. Madam Vice Chair, if I may, the chairman and I have a proclamation that will be the substitute for the award that you received. I hope that this is a very humble but sincere proclamation. A proclamation recognizing the Honorable Jane Hall for her dedicated service and political leadership in representing Spartanburg County Council. Whereas the Honorable Jane Hall was recognized in February by Spartanburg Methodist College for her political leadership and efforts to improve the lives of the citizens of Spartanburg County. The Honorable Jane Hall has represented the residents of Spartanburg County District 4 since taking office in January 2009. She is Vice Chair of County Council, Chairwoman of the Livability Committee, a member of the Personnel and Finance Committee, and a member of the Land Use Committee, working tirelessly to improve the lives of citizens as well as the efficiency and effectiveness of government. She also serves as the Chairwoman of the Appalachian Council of Governments. Whereas, from her position of leadership, the Honorable Jane Hall has touched the lives of countless people through her positive spirit, dedicated service, and passion for helping others. In recognition of the Honorable Jane Hall's efforts, Spartanburg Methodist College on February 20th, 2015 presented her with its Political Leadership Award as part of the college's annual Pioneering Women Awards Luncheon, which acknowledges the achievement of women of character, courage, and commitment in the upstate community. And whereas the Honorable Jane Hall is a lifelong resident of Spartanburg County, a product of Spartanburg District 7 schools, a graduate of Spartanburg Methodist College, and a graduate of Clemson University, she has a deep connection to the community she serves, a commitment that is evident daily in her interactions with citizens and community leaders. Now therefore be it resolved that Spartanburg County does hereby recognize and express its appreciation to the Honorable Jane Hall for her continuing service to Spartanburg County and congratulates her on her recent honor. Be it further resolved that this proclamation be presented to the Honorable Jane Hall in recognition of her political leadership as a member of Spartanburg County Council. Presented the 16th day of March 2015, signed by Jeffrey Horton, and it was my pleasure to attest to as County Administrator. Congratulations on your award. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Councilman Nutt, I have a note here to turn the podium to you for a moment for a special recognition as well.
Okay. Can we come down there?
Either way.
All right, I'll just get from here. We've done it too many times. I want to recognize, this is our, still in our employee recognition point in our agenda here, and I want to recognize two people that were very helpful to me in the past week. It's Bob Hargrader and Mr. Jim Hill. They actually attended with me one of our homeowner association meetings, which you can imagine how those typically go, especially when there's a lot of questions. And I had the two people there that could answer every question that would come up, and they actually did. They had the answers, and they helped me out a great deal. And I recommend to every council member that go get Jim and Bob to go to every single meeting that you have. They thoroughly enjoyed it. No, I really appreciate both you guys for taking time out of your personal life to go do that. You didn't have to do it, but it was very much appreciated, and you did a great job. Good feedback. It was a very relatively short Q&A because of the people that knew what was going on over there, and I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Councilman Nutt, and thank you, Jim and Bob. I have a series of recognitions that will be largely concerning communications and our public safety group. So if you'll bear with me, I have a couple. So some of the folks may actually stand more than once, but that's a good thing to be able to recognize the folks I'm about to recognize. So Sandy Poor, I think you're here if you'll stand up for us. Wanted to thank you for a note that I received about a call that you handled on February the 24th. It's my understanding that you answered a 911 call from a man whose wife was suffering acute heart-related problems. The family later contacted a dispatcher supervisor to say thank you for all that you did to treat their dad so well. After a review of the call, we found that you did an extremely professional, efficient job. There was no question about that. And that you had certainly shown a high level of compassion for the caller. That had to have been a very scary event for them, and you handled it so well. Not a whole lot of folks stopped in the literally thousands of calls that happened at the communication stop to say thank you. This gentleman did, so thank you so much for representing us so well. Next, I'd like to ask Mike Flynn to join me here at the podium. We'd like to represent the Donald Caldwell Award to Justin Martin. If you'd come up as well, Justin. And Mike, I know that you've done this before, and I'm going to ask you to do this again. Would you give just a brief background on the Donald Caldwell Award? I know it's very special to you.
The Donald Caldwell Award is named so for a longtime dispatch employee who was a supervisor actually when I started. He trained me some. He was a big proponent of emergency services. He served on 2 different fire departments and 2 different rescue squads in the county. And he had a heart for the fire service, and therefore the fire service adopted an award for his name, Donald Caldwell Award. 2 of the things that stand out to me from Donnie Caldwell was number 1, he wanted you to get the job done. He knew people were relying on you, both the callers and the responders, and he was big on training people to do whatever it takes to get what they need. The second thing was to get the job done right. We want it done right the first time. In our business, we rarely get a second chance, so he trained us to do the job right. So those 2 aspects went into the selection this year, and Justin Martin, who is a dispatch supervisor with us, was found to be best suited to receive this award from the fire service, and he was presented that award at the Fire Chiefs Association award gala last week.
Councilman, if you'll join me in congratulating Justin for receiving this award. As many of you know, we had an ultralight aircraft accident here just a few days ago, and I'd like to call on a group of folks who were part of this particular call. It's not very often that I have the chance to recognize so many people and really demonstrate to council how many people it takes to provide response in situations like what happened here on March the 9th. So when I call your name, I'm going to ask you to stand, and then as I go through what happened that night, I'll start with communications. So the Cherokee Springs Fire Department, I believe we have Chief Trent Harper here, as well as Assistant Chief Chris Howard, Captain Charlie Lee, Lieutenant John Alley, and Lieutenant Tim Cash. Did I get everybody from Cherokee Springs, Chief? Okay. And then we have the Spartanburg Advanced Rescue Team. Also responded Captain Heath Henderson, Captain Scott Sherritt, Lieutenant Chris Lamb, Lieutenant Rod Hunter, and Sergeant Brad Bennett. Did I get everyone from the SART? So, Boiling Springs Fire Department, Chief Scott Miller. Hey, Chief. Spartanburg EMS, Lynn Cole. I think you're representing everybody that responded to that list. It wasn't just you, right? You had to put a lot of folks there. And Spartanburg County Communications Center, Justin Martin, again, Charles Hill, Kyle Green, and then I think you guys are representing the other members of Team 1 and Team 2. Is that correct, Mike?
Yeah, they're here.
Okay, well, you guys stand up too, other members of Team 1 and 2. And then council, just so that you know that this doesn't represent everyone, we certainly had a large representation from Cowpens Fire Department at that event. Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office, I think Lieutenant Travis Barnett was going to try to make it. I'm not sure if he made it tonight. And then we certainly had equipment and personnel from Duke Energy and Broad River Electric. So while these folks are standing, if you don't mind, I'd like to share with you what happened if you're not aware of this, because it was a significant event in the county. Just before 7 p.m. on March the 9th, an ultralight aircraft crashed into some trees and became lodged in the top of the trees approximately 80 feet off the ground. The communications center staff took control of the situation and worked feverishly to get help to the victims. While teams 1 and 2 all worked the incident, recognition of the fire dispatchers came from the fire units on the scene. Specifically, Supervisor Justin Martin and dispatchers Charles Hill and Kyle Green were given praise by fire responders for their professional and efficient work. On the fire side of the house, the Cherokee Springs Fire Department was dispatched upon acknowledgement of the call. I know it had been pretty horrific to show up on the scene. The aircraft was in the trees on Foster Groves Road. It's my understanding that Chief from the Cherokee Springs Fire Department that Car 9 performed the assessment of the area. We found one patient on the ground unresponsive, one person still in the aircraft. He was suspended approximately 80 feet in the air between two trees. So as we kind of walk through this, although I'd be glad, council, to share with you all of the details of that scene, I know that I'm not trained, nor am I prepared to respond to that scene. You all are both trained, and we're prepared from communications straight to the folks who are on the scene. And council, I think that you stand with me when we both say that this was one of those moments that you really appreciate what we have in this county as far as public safety resources to meet the needs of individuals who may just be flying over the county or who live here. And I want to thank them, and I want you to join me in thanking them for representing us so well and taking such good care of us. Chief Miller, you're still here. I know this may be an emotional recognition as far as you may go, but I wanted to recognize Supervisor Justin Martin just one more time. I know he did something very special for you and your family. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share that with council. Chief Miller passed on his gratitude to me for the last call services that were provided by the communications department for his dad's funeral. You may know that on Tuesday, February 24th, Spartanburg County suffered a great loss in the passing of Mr. Paul Allen Miller. He's Chief Miller's father of the Boiling Springs Fire Department. Mr. Miller had served for many years in fire service, and he also served his community as a Boy Scout leader, 40 years in several different capacities. So I know you're very proud of him. Supervisor Justin Martin performed the last call, and our ESA Director Chris Massey assisted with the public address system at the cemetery. And I just want to thank them. That was a very honorable thing, and I'm glad that you asked us to do it. It was certainly our honor and privilege to do that for you. So, council, if you'll join me in thanking your team. And lastly, I saw Mike Emery here. Mike is still here. There's Mike and Johnny Lewis. I know you're going to be watching me take pictures. Wanted to pass along to you that the coroner wanted you to know how much he appreciated the help, especially the vehicle maintenance crew. He's had several issues with vehicles. One in particular that's required a great deal of research and follow-up. And he said that your team stayed on top of the issues and the problem was resolved. He just wanted to say thank you for keeping his department vehicles running. And you know, in his department, they've got to, you just never know when you're going to be called out. So thank you for making sure that he has reliable service. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain. Okay, we'll go to item 4, public hearing. Item 8, consider an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a pay-and-lieu tax agreement by and between Spartanburg County and South Carolina for Delco Construction Machinery USA Incorporated with respect to certain economic development property in the county. Anyone speak on behalf of this public hearing? None seen, close 8. Open 8. It's okay. We'll do another A. The other A. To consider an ordinance to amend the agreement for development for a joint county industrial park line between Spartanburg County and Cherokee County, South Carolina, and to include additional property in Spartanburg County as part of the joint industrial park and matters related thereto. This again is with Delco Construction Machinery and Torrey Carbon Fiber of America. Anyone speak on behalf of this public hearing? Close that public hearing. Open B, to consider an application for a special public event exclusion from the noise ordinance to Thing Community of Monks from 11 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, April 4, 2015, and 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. on Sunday, April 5th, 2015, for a Cambodian New Year celebration at 841 Shiloh Church Road. Anyone speak on behalf of this public hearing? None seen, closed B. Open C, to consider an application for special public event exclusion from a noise ordinance requested by John Shintani. The Allow Association of Spartanburg from 10 a.m. on Friday, May 1st until 1 a.m. on Saturday, May 2nd, 2015, from 10 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, May 2nd, and from 10 a.m. until 11:30 p.m. on Sunday, May 3rd, 2015, for a loud New Year party at 470 Fox Drive. Anyone speak on behalf of this public hearing? None seeing. Close C. Open D, to consider an application for a special public event exclusion from the noise ordinance requested by Jim Brannon of Kingdom Terrace Stables from 10 a.m. until 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, April 25th, 2015, for an outdoor concert at 140 Double Bridge Road, Boiling Springs. Anyone speak on behalf of this public hearing? None seeing. Close D. Open E, to consider an application for a special public event exclusion from the noise ordinance requested by Tony Shires of Harley Davidson of Spartanburg from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. on Saturday, March 28, 2015, for a motorcycle ministry and church event held at 365 Shea Lane. Anyone speak on behalf of this public hearing? None seen. Close E. Open item F, to consider an application for a special public event exclusion from the noise ordinance requested by Greer Dragway from 4 p.m. until midnight on Saturday, April 11, 2015, and Saturday, April 18, 2015, for a drag race at 1792 Dragway Road, Greer. Anyone speak on behalf of this public hearing? None seen. Close F. And that concludes our public hearings. Earlier today, we had our committee reports, and under economic development, we did not have anything under that committee today. We did under public health and human services. Honorable Justin Bradley, Chairman. Mr. Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did have two items that came before our committee today. The first was to receive information and take desired action in reference to the Community Development Block Grant Program and All Investment Partnerships Program funding recommendations, and the committee's recommendations that we approve fiscal year 2015 annual action plan, and I so move.
We have a motion on A.
Second.
In a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, no vote affirmative, passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second item was to receive information in reference to changing the name of the Spartanburg Alcohol and Drug Abuse Commission, SADAC, to the Forrester Center for Behavioral Health, and no action taken on that item this month.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bradley. Personnel and Finance, Honorable Bob Walker, Chairman. Mr. Walker.
Mr. Chairman, our committee considered two items today, and the first was we received information and took the desired action in reference to a lease agreement on the Second Presbyterian Church parking lot. We approved that recommendation, so I move that we authorize the action taken to approve this lease for the committee.
We have a motion on that.
Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, no vote affirmative, and it passes.
And we also received information regarding our new revised employee handbook, and this will be addressed at a later date. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our action by our committee.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Next, we have livability, Honorable Jane Hall, Chairman. Ms. Hall.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we received information on the Tourism Action Plan, a progress report and update on that. We also received information in reference to a request from the Parks Department to apply for the Spartanburg Regional Foundation grant. It is our request that we approve submittal of this grant application.
We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, no vote affirmative, and it passes.
We received information on activities of the Parks Department, and that concludes our committee report.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Next, we have Public Safety and Judiciary, Honorable Michael Brown, Chairman. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had 5 matters that came before the committee. The first in which we received information and had a request to take desired action in reference to a grant from the MacArthur Foundation. The committee recommends to full council that we approve the submission of the grant application, and I so move.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, I vote affirmative, and it passes.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. We received information and have requests to take desired action in reference to a resolution ratifying a mutual aid agreement between the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office and the Burlington County Sheriff's Office. The committee recommends for council's consideration the adoption of the resolution. I so move.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, I vote affirmative, and it passes.
Next, Mr. Chairman, we received information and had a request to take desired action in reference to a resolution ratifying a mutual aid agreement between the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office and the Florence County Sheriff's Office. The committee recommends for council's full consideration and adoption of the resolution, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, I vote affirmative, and it passes.
Finally, Mr. Chairman, the last two items, items D and E, will postpone until further notice, but for the purpose of the record, I will apprise everyone. We received information and had a request under item D to take desired action in reference to a resolution approving an agreement for the extended police jurisdiction of the city of Inman within the public right-of-way located in the city limits of the city of Inman, known as New Cut Road, from the intersection of Southfield to Blackstock Road, a distance of 0.2 miles, and Blackstock Road from the intersection of New Cut to the intersection of 292 from a distance of 1.2 miles. The request was to adopt the resolution. However, the committee felt that it should be postponed until further notice, so there could be some further discussion about that. Item E, the same matter related to the city of Union, city of Inman. Received information and had a request to take desired action in reference to a resolution approving an agreement for extended police jurisdiction for the city of Inman within the public right-of-way located near the city limits of the city of Inman and known as Southfield from Kempton Road to the intersection of New Cut Road, a 1.1 mile stretch of roadway. Again, the request was to adopt the resolution. This also was postponed until further notice. Those are all the matters that came before our committee, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. No items under land use today. We'll say a little birdie passed me a note a moment ago and said one of our attorneys, Ms. Jeannie, is celebrating the first anniversary of her 30th birthday this week. Public Works Buildings and Grounds, Honorable Roger Nutt, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We received a very cheerful report about the landfill and its recycling capabilities and about the upcoming hazardous material event that's coming up on the 28th, where basically you can bring anything that you wouldn't normally drink and you can give it away and other people will take it. And that's all we have for our committee.
Jason, if you could, man, I appreciate it. If you give a little blurb to that in the paper about that hazardous collection, because that's very important in this county, that we don't dump the paint. That same road had a lot of paint on the side of the road, and so if these people know they have an area that they can go take the paint, take the light bulbs, it really does help. So if you have any section in there, any verbiage at all, I appreciate it. Thank you. No one speaking under public comment today. So we'll go to number 7, old business. Render second reading to an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu tax agreement by between Spartanburg County and Cabelco Construction.
Move approval, second reading.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, I vote affirmative, that passes. Item B, render second reading to an ordinance to amend the agreement for development of a joint county industrial park by and between Spartanburg County and Cherokee County, South Carolina, so as to include additional property in Spartanburg County as part of the joint county industrial park and reminders related thereto, referencing Cabelco Construction and Torrey Carbon Fibers.
Move approval, second reading.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, I vote affirmative, and it passes. New business, item 8, to consider an application for a special public event exclusion from the noise ordinance requested by the Buddhist monks from 11 a.m. to 11:59 on Saturday, April 4, 2015, and 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sunday, April 5, 2015, for a Cambodian New Year celebration at 841 Shiloh Church Road. Need a motion?
Motion.
Have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, vote affirmative, it passes. Item B, consider an application for a special public event excluded from the noise ordinance requested by Johnny Sinchaxi. The Allow Association of Spartanburg from 10 a.m. on Friday, May 1st, until 1 a.m. on Saturday, May 2nd, 2015. From 10 a.m. until 11:59 on Saturday, May 2nd, and from 10 a.m. to 11:30 on Sunday, May 3rd, 2015, for the Loud New Year Party at 470 Fox Drive. Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, vote affirmative, and it passes. We need a motion to consider an application for a special public event exclusion from the noise ordinance requested by Jim Brannon from 10 a.m. to 11:59 on Saturday, April 25th, 2015, for an outdoor concert at 140 Double Bridge Road.
Motion.
Have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, vote affirmative, and it passes. Item D, consider an application for a special public event exclusion from the noise ordinance requested by Tony Shires of Harley Davidson in Spartanburg from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. on Saturday, March 28th, 2015, for a motorcycle ministry and church event held at 365 Shea Lane.
Move approved.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, vote affirmative, and it passes. Item E, consider an application for a special public event exclusion from the noise ordinance requested by Greer Dragway from 4 p.m. until midnight on Saturday, April 11, 2015, and Saturday, April 18, 2015, for a drag race at 1792 Dragway Road, Greer.
Chairman, move approval.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, vote affirmative, it passes.
We can save you a lot of time. If you like Johnny and all those others.
He's not
We like to see
He wants to be.
it. We like to see it.
You save time.
Number nine, any other resolutions, Councilman? Any other miscellaneous council matters? We didn't have our VAR resolutions to approve. We have a motion on the VAR.
So moved.
Have a motion. Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, one vote affirmative.
Before you take up the minutes, may I ask for one item to be included in your motion? We identified two very minor scrivener errors that involved the names of council members. It doesn't change any of the minutes involved per se, but if you would allow us as part of the motion to correct those scrivener errors, we'd like to do that.
And according to, we have a motion to approve with these members' names corrected. Do we have a motion? Second? Second. Any other discussion?
Misspelled H.
All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, vote affirmative, and it passes. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Thank you very much for your attendance today.
Councilman